All right, what's going on, everybody? This is week number 6. That's right, week number 6 of 7313, which is your collection and access management class for the fall of 2019. And we have a very important announcement. So please pay attention. So we are going to do this announcement, and then we are just going to run through something really quick that the American Library Association offers us, and then you will be left to your own devices. But for this check-in video, one thing that needs to be said right now is there has been a complete change. I repeat, there has been a complete change to what is going on this week, and you all need to be ready to adapt for it. Now, first, let me say that I do reserve the right to change things in the syllabus with notice, and you will see that in the syllabus. And I have had to do that. So, what has happened is, for those of you who live out of state, because not all of my students are here in Missouri with me, for those of you who live out of state, the Missouri Library Association Conference is this Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So October 2nd, October 3rd, October 4th. Okay, Sissel let me know last week, at the towards the end of last week actually, that I have duties to tend to at the Missouri Library Association Conference in the evening on Thursday. So I live in Kansas City, and the Missouri Library Association Conference is in Kansas City. So I had not adapted. That's the reason why I had not adapted the syllabus, was because I figured that I would just be at the conference on Thursday during the day originally, and then I would be able to return back to my office at UMKC to conduct our synced session. That is not happening. Mizzou, Sissel has decided that they would like me to do a few things at the conference in the evening on Thursday. Therefore, I will not be available for the synced session. And because I am the instructor, I have the power to say that since Mizzou is telling me I have to be at the conference site, or actually at a related function really, on Thursday evening, because they have told me that, that means I cannot conduct the synced session on Thursday evening. So Thursday has now been changed to a written session. So please take note of this. This is very important. Week 6, your discussion prompt. In place of us having a synced session on Thursday night on October 3rd, you will now have to do this as a written discussion prompt. Now, the written discussion prompt is technically due on Thursday, October 3rd, which should not cause you any problems. I'm just going to be honest, and y'all can call me abrasive for this if you want. I get called abrasive all the time. But because you are going to be at the session anyway from 7 to 8:30, I am going to say that the time that you would have spent in the session can be time that you use for the discussion board prompt. So that hour and a half that you would have been at the synced session, now you can use that hour and a half if you want in order to complete the discussion prompt. So I'm just going to keep it real with you. I don't want to hear any excuses of, well, you changed it from a synced session to a written discussion prompt and I didn't have time to do the prompt. You were going to be with me from 7 until 8:30 on Thursday anyway. So if you don't have any other time, then use that hour and a half to finish the discussion prompt, to write a discussion prompt instead of being in the synced session. However, I still don't think it's fair to really make the written discussion prompt due on the same night that you would have had the synced session. So while it is due at that same time so that we can keep the pacing of the course consistent, what is going to happen is there will still be a grace period through Sunday night. So I will not start deducting late points or not taking the discussion. Let me word it this way. I will not start taking late points until Monday. Okay, until a week from today, that I'm posting this assignment. Monday, or that I'm posting this video. Monday the 7th is when I will start deducting late points for this assignment. So, or for this discussion prompt. So even if you feel that you don't have time to do this by midnight on Thursday night, you do have a grace period that allows you to take Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and at some point you can finish this. Now, this should also work in the favor of a few of you who have told me that you actually are going to be at the Missouri Library Association Conference. I've had 2 people check in with me to say there was a possibility that they may go. Now, if you go, you do not have to worry about trying to get in front of a computer before the synced session, because there will not be a synced session. So if you were planning to attend the conference without worry. And if you are staying at a hotel and didn't bring your laptop, it is okay. All right. So when you answer this prompt, you will answer all the questions in discussion 1 and in discussion 2. Discussion 3 is going to be entirely optional because not all of you work in a library. So if you do not work in a library, either try to get a hold of the weeding policy of a library that will offer it to you, or you may skip this part of the prompt and we may come back to it in a future sync session. Now, for those of you who have not, I have just honestly not had the opportunity. I was out of town towards the latter parts of last week on some personal issues. If you have not had time to grade the previous discussions that you all did for week number 5, however, the work that you all did for week number 1 is still there. So what I'm going to say is this: if you do not feel that you have a good grasp on what I am expecting as far as depth and fullness of a discussion board prompt, then look at what was posted on week number 2, because they were fantastic, starting with Caroline and going all the way through. These were very fantastic original posts. Caroline, you did a good job. Daniel, you did a good job. And going and works cited, lovely. So if you want some examples of graded posts, like I said, I have not graded your posts yet for week number 5, and I apologize for that, but I'll get through those and grade them. But great places to start would be looking at week number 2. Look at what Carolyn wrote in her post, which was the first post. Look at Daniel and how thorough he was with his post. That was the second post. If you have anything of that type of quality, you're going to get full credit. And that's also going to be the case when I am reviewing what's going on for what you all did in week number 5. So I apologize for that change, but I reserve the right to change the course. If you are confused, and there is a chance that you're going to be confused, and don't feel bad if you are confused, but if you're confused about what's being expected of you this week, email me anytime, anytown at austinj@missouri.edu, and I will answer whatever questions you have in that regard. Now, having said all of that, that's pretty much what I wanted to say as far as the housekeeping was concerned. I have put in the grades for the week 4 synced session. So if you attended, you got full credit. If you did not attend, then you got a 0. If I marked you as having a 0 and you attended, then please email me and I will try to review. But those of you who got 0s, I did not have a record of your attendance in Zoom. So that's just what it is. But if you believe that you attended in week 4 and you still got a 0 on the week 4 attendance, then email me and we will sort that out. Now, if you did not attend the week 4 session and I still gave you the full 3 points for attending, if you did not, then that is an error on my part, and keep that to yourself. Just go ahead and take the free points that you were given. There, I do applaud honesty, but in this case, I'm just going to leave it at if you didn't attend and I said you did, then keep it to yourself and just attend next time. I am not going to change your grade to a 0 if I already gave you a 3. That's my fault and not yours. So that is out of the way. And so what we're going to do very quickly is you are welcome to look at this on your own time, but we're going to very quickly just look at this page here because this kind of goes along with what we're discussing with collection, maintenance, and weeding. One thing the ALA has done that I really appreciate them for is they have explained what collection management and weeding policies should include at public libraries as well as school libraries and at academic libraries, and then they have included examples. So I am just going to read through these very quickly, through the first paragraphs at least of each of these 3 categories for the description, but I won't read the examples aloud. If you want to read the examples, then just Google ALA collection, maintenance, and weeding LibGuide, and you will be brought here. And there are some other tabs too that you can kind of take a look at, but actually don't even bother with that. I apologize. Yeah, don't bother with that. So here we go. So first of all, public libraries. If you are interested in public libraries, weeding and collection maintenance are based on the availability of newer, updated resources or the circulation statistics and the use of materials. Policy language that references weeding should highlight objective criteria used in making decisions such as publication date, circulation history, and the physical condition of the resource. Public libraries may decide there are areas of the collection that are important to the community, such as genealogy collections and local history collections, and material may not be regularly weeded from these identified collections. It's a good idea. It is definitely a good idea to not really go and weed your genealogy and local history. I can definitely say that as somebody who, just as a personal anecdote, I don't know if any of you have tried your hands at genealogy. I've done some amateur genealogy trying to trace back my roots, and I can tell you that it is very, very difficult to trace back your genealogy if you are African American prior to the late 1800s, because African Americans were not always documented, particularly in the South. And I trace my roots back to the Carolinas and to Virginia. So I have actually been very much helped out by looking at things that were in local collection rooms, local history rooms. There's a questionable slave records thing that I have seen in a local library in North Carolina. And while I really can't make the case as of yet as to whether or not that those resources are dealing specifically with any ancestors of mine, it is at least putting me on the right track. Okay, so that's your public library thing. The policy should note areas that are not reviewed for weeding. And yes, I do believe that that should include your genealogy and local history collections. School library collection, maintenance, and weeding. I have no experience myself with school libraries. I only have experience with public and academic libraries. School librarians should develop policy guidelines to guide collection, maintenance, and weeding to ensure that materials and resources are available to students and staff, and also to more efficiently manage the collection. These policies should include guidance on repair, replacement, and removal of materials. Weeding of the collection should also be guided by clear policies to determine when items should be removed and if they should be replaced with newer, updated content. Conducting regular inventories of the collection is also an essential component of collection maintenance and weeding. Collection maintenance and weeding policies should also specify who repairs materials and is responsible for weeding and inventory. Policies should provide guidance about disposal of weeded materials. Now, there's also there's a sample there. Finally, academic libraries. In an academic library, collection maintenance and weeding are usually driven by library faculty and staff and reflect the college or university's mission, goals, and curricular needs. In most academic libraries, the subject specialist librarian and or departmental liaison plays a significant role in weeding of the collection. And I will also say that in my experience, and my experience is just my anecdotal experience, take it for what it is, but we were not as aggressive with weeding in any of the academic libraries that I served in as we were in the public libraries. So I don't really know what to make of that. Maybe it's because academic libraries that I worked at had more space than the public library I worked at, even though the public library that I worked at was a centrally localized branch that had plenty of space. But maybe there's more space at the academic libraries. I don't know. I've certainly also worked at a community college library, which had a very small area for collections, and yet they were still keeping things and not weeding things very aggressively. They were not getting rid of things as frequently as the public library was. So another motivating factor that could be that there may be more pressure in the public library to keep more current materials, materials that are like, for instance, let's say, and one of my favorite books, by the way, is a book that came out during the Bush administration, and it was called Lies and the Lying Liars Who Tell Them, a fair and balanced look at the right by comedian Al Franken, comedian and former Senator Al Franken. Now, that was one of my favorite books, even though, I don't want to steer you in any way politically in this class. So I'm not, yes, that book was a very liberal book, a fair and balanced look at the right. We all know what that probably was insisting. However, I would say that book has lost its currency and may or may not be useful to still keep on your public library shelves, because a lot of the people being discussed in that book are no longer in power. So Bush has stepped down from his role. Bush is no longer the president. I wouldn't say he stepped down. He served 2 terms and he was gone. And another person, for instance, that book examines a lot is Bill O'Reilly, who is no longer a talk show host on Fox News. He has been replaced by Tucker Carlson. And even Al Franken himself is some would say, a disgraced former senator. He has been removed from office. I do not know if he's still a practicing comedian or not, but he's certainly no longer in government. And I would seriously doubt that he will ever be an elected official again. So that is a book that may have lost its currency and therefore may no longer need to be held on a public library shelf, but it was held on public library shelves pretty regularly during the Bush and even into the Obama years. And that can be said of a lot of books that are current events type books. Sometimes they are, I would say that any current events related book that was held in a public library is probably lost a lot of its relevance if it were produced during the Bush administration and now we're on the Trump administration. We may have moved beyond the relevancy of such titles. So again, if you want to get a more, if you want to read the examples and want to read the extra verbiage, that is on this page, just go ahead and pull this page up yourself. But I wanted you all to be aware of the existence of this page, and I was going to go through it really quickly for that reason. We are at 20 minutes, so I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. If you are coming to MLA, I look forward to seeing you, but that's my time now. I'm out. If you need me, email me anytime, any town, any topic. AustinJ@missouri.edu. Peace.